Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's third video. We're going to have a look at the weather for the next 10 to 14 days for today's third video. So day 10 is going to take us around the 9th of February, and we'll be able to extend out beyond that with the extended GFS and ECM ensembles later on to around a couple of weeks. Going to have a look at CFS V2 at the end of the video for the next 4 weeks, which will take us into the latter part of February. Don't forget to check out the weekend forecast. That was the second video released today, and the first video released was the ECM 42-day forecast. So check out those two videos if you would like to do that. Now, we did a big old live stream last night. Absolutely massive live stream. So thank you so much everyone for making it such an incredible live stream. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed it. We picked up loads and loads of super chatters during that live stream. At the end of the stream, I shouted out all super chatters, but somebody got missed out. I was only made aware of this after the live stream. So I'm so sorry to this person for missing you with your shout out at the end of the stream, but I'll make up for it now. Thank you so much for your kindness and generosity to Aidan Majid. Thank you so much to Aidan Majid for your kindness and generosity in super chatting the live stream last night. So big thank to Aidan for doing that. Thank to all of our super chatters. Had loads and loads of super chats. Absolutely amazing. And I picked up a new channel member as well. That person will get a shout out at the beginning of Monday's 10 to 14 day video update. So yeah, just big thank you to all of you. However you support Gaz Webbers, whether you're a super chatter, whether you're a channel member, patron, donor, you know, however you offer your support, just thank you so much to all of you. And the support does not have to come like financial. It can be through liking videos, through sharing the videos, through subscribing, telling your friends and family about Gaz Webbers, getting them to subscribe as well. That is all helping to support and build up and grow the channel. So however you support us, just a huge thank you to each and every one of you. We are now at 10.245k subscribers. We've got to put on around about 50 subscribers to get to 10.3k. We are on the grind to 11,000 subscribers, 11k subscribers. So yeah, you know, I don't know when it's going to take us, when we're going to get to 11k, but we're definitely on the grind to it. And so please subscribe if you're new to the channel. Please give us a sub, and don't forget to tell your friends, family, everybody else to subscribe as well. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. Right, so South Central temperature is currently looking. Now you've got a couple more days left of January. Of course, it's going to be a cold and average month, this. So we're coming out at the moment, provisional to yesterday, 29th of January, at 3.4. That's an anomaly of 0.4 of a degree below average, 61 to 90. Remember, this is going to tick down a little bit, though, today and tomorrow, because we've got a cold day today, got a very cold night potentially coming up tonight, then another cold day tomorrow. So I think this is probably going to go down on here. This will go down probably to around 3.2, I would have thought, but then we may get a downwards correction. So I'm beginning to think we may actually finish up under 3 degrees here. We might finish up at 2.9. It's going to be close, but I don't think it's totally impossible that we might end up under 3 degrees for January 2021. We're certainly going to finish up in the low 3s. It's just a question of whether we can get a big enough downwards correction to get us to 2.9 or not. But it's going to be colder than average anyway this January for the CET region. So just a recap of January's gone. This CET page at Gaz Webbers. CET, of course, is the longest and most reliable temperature record, going all the way back to 1659. Although the further back you go, the more unreliable it gets. So the last time we had a January in the 3s was in 2013, when we had 3.5 in January 2013. So that was kind of like our last January that you would classify as being cold now. So the average actually for 61 to 1990, the average is 3.8 for January, and for 81 to 2010, the average is 4.4. So quite a significant difference between 61 to 90 and 81 to 2010. So on either average, we are going to be colder than average with the CET for this January. It's just a question of how cold it is. The last time we was in the ever freeze was in January 2013. But I think we're going to come in under that. I think we'll come in under 3.5. So that means this is going to be the coldest January since 2010. Just here, which had a January CT of 1.4. That was our last very cold January. Not sub-zero, but that was a really cold January in 2010. Obviously, we're not going to be as cold as that. But this is going to be the coldest January for what's that, 11 years. It's going to be the coldest January for 11 years. So it's been a long time coming, hasn't it? But there we go. It will be the coldest January for 11 years. The only question is whether we finish up hanging on to the threes or whether we tumble down into the twos, and we will know on Monday, on the first day of February, of course. Right, these are the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles for the next couple of weeks. We're at Lincoln today. The red line is a 30-year upper air temperature average for Lincoln. For the next couple of days, we're going to be colder than average. The weather's turned colder again across much of the country today. Will be cold tomorrow and probably quite cold into Monday as well. Around Tuesday, Wednesday, we get a bit of a lift up in the temperature, so it will become less cold to milder then. But after that, through the second half of the week, and particularly into next weekend, becoming really quite cold, actually, with quite a significant drop in those upper air temperatures. They're really dropping down at the end of next week and into next weekend. Many of those ensemble members now are going down to around -10 at 850 HPA. Several of them are going down to between -10 and -15 at 850 HPA. This is kind of beach from the east sort of stuff, as the air will be coming in from the east, and there will be an increasing risk of snow potential as well, with those temperatures going as low as that, as those easterly winds and those cold upper air temperatures run over the North Sea. We could start to generate some big snow showers. In the second week of February, there is a lot of uncertainty about this period. Generally, there's a warming trend going on within the GFS ensembles, although several ensemble members are actually keeping things cold or very cold through the second week of February, but most ensembles are lifting the temperature back up through the second week of February, so that period remains to be seen. But definitely it looks like we're going to get quite say around 4 to 5 days of potentially very cold weather, starting from around Friday, going through the weekend and lasting into the beginning of the following week. Precipitation-wise, there's going to be a fair amount of dry weather over the next couple of days as it's quite cold. Then as the temperature lifts up around Tuesday, Wednesday, there's going to be quite a lot of rain involved with that. And then as we go into this colder period at the end of next week and into next weekend, we're bringing easterly winds. It is drier, but it's not completely dry. There are precipitation spikes in there, and there could be some snow in that period as well. And then perhaps more definitively, more unsettled through here around the middle part of February, and of course that is as the upper air temperatures are beginning to lift up a little bit, but it's a long way off that. Temperature anomalies from the 30th of January to the 7th of February, more or less on the colder than average side, particularly for more central and northern parts of the country. Bitterly cold across Scandinavia as well. I would expect these anomaly maps to probably trend colder in the coming days, actually. Precipitation anomalies from the 30th of January to the 7th of February. Drier than average for Scotland, telling us that again, we've got northern blocking. So it's drier than average from Scotland all the way up to Iceland. You can see where the blocking is sitting. Most parts of the UK and Ireland, though, actually coming out with above average precipitation. As I said a moment ago, the cold air is back today. The latest wind flow map from earthnullschool.net shows why the northerly and easterly winds have returned. So the milder westerly winds that we have been in, particularly for England and Wales, over the past few days, they've been shunted off down to Biscay, and we've got this area of low pressure just away from southwest England, which means we're drawing in quite cold air from the east and from the north today as well. So yeah, it's a lot colder across the country today, and it will stay cold. So the north is going to stay cold throughout. Scotland will never turn milder next week, I don't think. Maybe for a day or so across southern Scotland, but most parts of Scotland are going to stay cold throughout all of next week. For England and Wales, it will turn less cold again through the middle part of the week, milder through the middle part of the week, and then probably bring cold air back in again towards the end of next week and next weekend. Right, this is how the UK Met is looking for Tuesday, with low pressure desperately trying to come in from off the Atlantic, coming into cold air, could well deliver a big snow event for northern Britain on Monday night into Tuesday morning. Wednesday, we'll find low pressure over the top of the country. That will bring some milder air into the south with spells of rain. Those winds will still in from the east, though, across Scotland, so still cold there and a risk of snow in places. Thursday has that low pressure sitting right over top of the country again. We're putting in colder air to the north of the low into Scotland, increasing risk of snow probably there through Thursday. England and Wales still closest area of high pressure, still keeping the wind in from a southwesterly direction. As we go through into Friday, so midnight Friday as far as we go with the UK Met, the low pressure is sitting somewhere around the Irish Sea. Again, easterly winds digging into the north, into Scotland, still keeping the wind from the southwest down in the south. We've got to get this low pressure southwards. You're going to see varying options with this. We've got to take this low pressure southwards. If you want to turn it colder, we've got to take this low pressure southwards in that direction and allow these easterly winds to push in to the country. At 144 hours, midnight on Friday, the UK Met keeps that low pressure over the top of England and Wales. So the cold air is digging in on the northern side of the low, and that's into Scotland. Now here's the GFS. This is how the GFS is looking for Tuesday. Again, with low pressure coming in off the Atlantic, bumping into cold air, bringing a significant risk of snow for northern England and also for Scotland as well. Through Wednesday and Thursday, that low pressure sitting over the top of the country, cold air digging in from the east on the northern side of that low will bring increasing risk of snow to Scotland, but most parts of England and Wales keep wind coming from like a southwesterly direction. Now the GFS does eventually take that low pressure south, so from Friday through to Saturday the low pressure slips southwards into Spain, opens the door to those easterly winds. You can see that all parts by 6 o'clock in the morning on Saturday next week are in an east to northeasterly wind. It's a strong wind as well. It will be bringing very cold air in from the east and an increasing risk of snow as well. That's how the upper air temperatures are looking on Saturday, pushing the minus 10 Celsius isoform. That is beast from the east type stuff. You get an easy wind with minus 10 Celsius isoform. That's enough to be classified as a beastly easterly. That's pushing in across the northern half of the country. Still not quite digging that cold air in to the south, but eventually it does get down to the south. This is 24 hours later, 6 a.m. on Sunday, and then we've got it like a gale force, easterly wind blasting in across the country. That'll be a bitter cold east wind, really raw easterly wind, and again that's driving that very cold air in from the east with minus 10 Celsius isoform pushing through the UK and even into Ireland. Low pressure is across France. That will be trying to push northwards. And so this could generate a very snowy spell of weather. Actually, this could turn really snowy, I think, through next weekend if it was to come off, and it's a big if. But with the low pressure over northern France, with gale force east to northeast wind, bitterly cold air in place, that does raise the prospect of potentially some really significant snow across southern and southeastern parts of England. By Monday the 8th of February, again bringing in a bitterly cold easterly wind with high pressure out to the northwest, low pressure over France. You follow the isobars back, the wind originates from a long way eastwards, and it'll be a very cold easterly wind, but we have blasting in there across the country. Again, upper air temperatures are looking cold with minus 10 Celsius isoform in across eastern areas. And up to 240 hours, which is the 9th of February, we keep things bitterly cold, particularly for England and Wales, with the easterly wind continuing. High pressure then starting to slip down over the northern half of the country, so turning very frosty by that point. But for England and Wales, still driving in snow showers, I would have thought, on that east to north-easterly wind. Again, bitterly cold, with the upper air temperatures minus 10 Celsius ice firm is pushing through the country. Now, eventually, we start to get a bit of a change of GFS 6 So, by the 10th of February, the high pressure is over the top of the country. It'll be very cold under that high pressure. Be snow-covered as well across much of the country, of course, by that point, with a risk of significant overnight frost. But then we start to pick up a much milder westerly. Look at this. Going to the 12th of February, the high pressure is down into France, and a much milder westerly coming around the top of that ridge of high pressure. So we actually finished with GFS 6Z with a lot of mild weather as we run up to the middle part of February. Very, very significantly different to like yesterday's GFS 6Z, which really had us plunging into the freezer. How interesting is that? So let's have a quick look at the precipitation type forecast based on that GFS run from the Weather Outlook. Here we go then. So we've got the rain and snow across England and Wales today. That's going to clear out of the way tonight. Turn very frosty tonight. Tomorrow we bring outbreaks of rain with some sleet and snow into parts of Ireland, Wales and southwestern England. Most places have a dry day though. Tomorrow into Tuesday, so Monday is mainly dry. Tuesday night, Monday night, Tuesday, very snowy in the north. Rain down in the south. Significant snow event for Northern England and Scotland though. Monday night into Tuesday. Keep the snow going across Scotland through Wednesday with those easty winds. Further southwards, precipitation is mostly of rain. And we just keep that snow coming actually across Scotland into the second half of this week as well. So this could turn into a very snowy spell for parts of Scotland through this coming week. All eyes will be on that. And then by Friday into Saturday, we're getting the wind into the east. So at this point, we do start to unleash those easterly winds. We've got lots of snow showers packing in from the east on those gale force easterly winds by next weekend. And then we've got the low pressure coming up from the south, bringing increasing risk of heavy rain and significant snow too across many parts of particularly central and eastern England. Don't worry too much about this rain in the far southeast. It's too far away to worry about that. But it's a suggestion. This is a very snowy easterly that the GFS 6Z is setting up for next weekend. Keeping it cold with more snow showers coming in across the south and the east through to day 10, and then of course it starts to turn milder with winds backing into the west, and then any precipitation is primarily of rain. This is how the GM is looking today. So again, we've got east winds continuing all week across Scotland, keeping cold air going there and bringing snow. Further south, it does turn a bit less cold or milder for England and Wales. By the end of the week, the low pressure is slipping away to the south, the high pressure taking over to the north. Winds are turning into the east, and then next weekend we pull in like a strong and a bitterly cold easterly wind, very blocked with the GM today. This kind of thing we're seeing from the GFS yesterday. So it's a GM at it today. Masses of northern blocking setting up next weekend and driving in those bitterly cold east winds. And then the GM does go plunging off into the freezer. So today it's a GM that's in the freezer as we go into the second week of February. Look at this bitterly cold east wind, long fetch easterly as well. Minus 10 Celsius ice firm pushing through the whole country as we run up towards day 10. And there we are at day 10, 9th of February. The GM is extremely blocked. Masses of northern blocking around Iceland and Greenland. Long fetch east winds. If you follow the isobars back, the air is originating from somewhere around here, right in the Urals, and pushing across the west of Europe. So the GM is in the freezer today, as like the GFS 6Z was yesterday. It's the GM at it today. GM's in the freezer, and there's no quick way out of that. If we do get that blocked, if the non-blocking gets to that extent, then there is no quick way out of that. So even several days beyond day 10 would stay very, very cold with a lot of northern blocking. Bear in mind that the GFS is nowhere near as blocked or as prolonged with the cold weather as the GM is. And they've got the ECM WF, and look away now if you want a prolonged cold spell, because this one is going to be the mildest of the three. So as we go through to the middle of the week, again, got the wind in from the east across Scotland, stays cold there. England and Wales will have showers along spells of rain. Then to Thursday and Friday, this low pressure sits over top of the country. Remember, to get the cold easterly in, we've got to take the low pressure to the south. It'll be on the northern side of the low, but we'll pull in those easterly winds. The ECM doesn't really take that low to the south. This is Saturday when the GM and GFS do have us under a cold easterly. The ECM just limits that easterly to Scotland. Most places remain under the trough of low pressure. We do get a little bit of an easterly in by the 7th of February, just under pulling a bit of an easterly wind by the 7th of February. That starts to allow colder air to push in from the east, particularly further north, but it's only like a one-day wonder. And as we go through to Monday, the 8th, we find that milder air is already starting to return from the west, although the east and the northeast is still pretty cold there. We finish up with the ECM pulling up like a mild or even a very mild southerly to southwesterly wind. Look at that, what a difference from the ECM at day 10 to the GM. How can they be so different, you may be asked? That's a GM at day 10. That's the ECM at day 10. How can they be that different? So I went through the reasons why that is happening in yesterday's 10 to 14 dayer. You know, that we are on that knife edge between the Atlantic and between the frozen continent. Even. Right, this the precipitation type forecast based on the ECM run from Meteo.com. So more snow possible into tomorrow, more widespread the ECM with the snow risk tomorrow. So that's all to be determined still, really, just 24 hours away. Into next week, we've got snow, particularly central northern areas, rain down in the south through the early part of the week. And then the second half of the week, of course, it's a case of whether we do get those cold easterly winds in or not. This particular ECM run does not bring the cold easterly wind in, so therefore there isn't all that much snow around next weekend. By day 10, there's a mix of rain, sleet and snow in the north, but it is getting milder with winds in from the southwest. These are the options on the table within the ECM ensembles today via the Icelandic Met Office at day 10. Gets us to the 9th of February. We have 15 members of the ECM ensembles with high pressure sitting over into the north of the country. It's going to be dry, cold and anticyclonic, probably bringing in a bit of an east wind. 15, including the control and the operational run, have low pressure over into the west of the country. Despite a lot of northern blocking being around Greenland, actually we're relatively mild there at day 10 as we bring the air in from the west or the southwest. 13 just here. This is the coldest option, I think. 13 here, probably in line with what the GM is showing. Masses of northern blocking, low pressure to the south, a strong easterly wind being brought in. So those 13 would be the coldest. And then we've got 8 down here. Again, with a lot of northern blocking. They're all going for northern blocking. So we all agree on that, but this one has a low pressure over to west of the country, and so would be kind of similar to this option, really. And these would be very unsettled, yes, but they would be probably on the milder side. In 2 weeks' time, these are the options that we've got. This will get us to the 14th of February. 13 members of the ECM ensembles will have high pressure over to the south of the country. We'll be drawing up a mild southwesterly with that. 12 will have high pressure blocking to the north, and we'll be bringing in a cold northerly or northeasterly wind. 8 will have masses of northern blocking between Greenland and Scandinavia, but a trough of low pressure underneath it could mean that it's cold and snowy with winds in from the northeast, but conversely could be milder and wetter with winds from west-southwest. That was on a real knife edge. 7 just here with high pressure over and to the north of the country. That's going to be cold with winds in from the east, probably anticyclonic. 6 with high pressure sitting more or less over top of the country. That's going to be mostly dry, cold and anticyclonic. And 5 with high pressure to our west generally, low pressure to our east, probably a bit on the cold side with northerly winds. There's a range of options there, but blocking is always there or thereabouts threatening cold weather. Finally, the CFS V2, these are 500 millibar heights broken down to week periods. The first week period takes from the 30th of January to the 5th of February. The coming week will have low pressure over and straight to the south of the country, blocking to the north, unsettled and probably getting colder with time as winds go into the east, particularly on the northern side of the country. Week 2 is going to be the 6th to the 12th of February. Again, a big mid-Atlantic ridge going up to Greenland. It's going to be pulling in the wind from Svalbard, potentially. So that could be very cold. Not dry weather, but any precipitation that does fall. And with those east-northeast winds, that's most likely to be in the east. Any precipitation that does fall would be falling as snow, of course. Week 3 is the 13th to the 19th of February, still with a lot of northern blocking around Greenland back into the Arctic. Low pressure to the south and the east of the country. Winds are still coming from a cold or a very cold east-northeasterly direction. The only difference is that with the low pressure to our south and east, there's a greater risk of potentially very significant snow. And then week 4 is going to be the 20th of February to the 26th, so coming towards month's end. Still not a lot of non-blocking, although receding a little bit. Low pressure covering most of the west of Europe. Probably still cold even now, with winds in from the north. But as the northern blocking just weakens slightly, there could be the chance of turning things a little bit less cold there, perhaps. But overall, it's a cold and a wintry outlook for February with the CFS V2. Week 1 temperature anomaly, 30th of January to 5th of February, are colder than average. Week 2 temperature anomaly, 6th to 12th of February, is also colder than average on the temperature scale. We're going down to between 1 and 2 degrees below average. Week 3 is even colder. This is the 13th to the 19th of February. This is freezing cold. Look at this. We've got the blue colours in there into the UK and over much of Europe as well, and most of America, Northern East America as well. Severely cold on both sides of the Atlantic. It can happen, but both America and the UK get very, very cold at the same time. A lot of people think that if America is very cold, then the UK will be mild, but it's not necessarily the case. Both sides of the Atlantic freezing cold there, and still cold into week 4, which is the 20th of February to 26th. Again, that is still cold, not as cold as week 3, which is like the peak of the cold weather, but still pretty cold even into week 4. So the CFS are going to town today on the idea of a very cold and wintry February. We shall see in time will tell. If you enjoyed this video, please click like. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. You're going to be able to see future weather content. If you do that, tell your friends, family, and everybody else about Gaz Weather. He's got to put on another 50 subscribers thereabouts to get to 10.3k. And drop a comment. Let us know what you think about this and all of our videos. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. Right, that's it for today's videos then. So actually we may do a little quick look at the 12Z tonight, actually. Having said that, I think we might do a little 12Z look at just like 5-10 minutes, zip through the 12Z very quickly, because it would be interesting to see whether the ECM has gone back to cold weather, I think, on the 12Z. So that'll be coming up right after 8 o'clock. So actually there will be one more video today. Sorry about that, everybody. There will be one more video coming up for you later on this evening. Tomorrow we're going to have our next spring update. That'll be like an Analogs and Season 1 roundup combined. First time they've ever done that. That'll be coming up tomorrow as well as Gaz Weather Sunny round. They'll be live streaming after 6 o'clock. For this video, that's all for now, and thanks for watching.